very much, Francois, and thank you again to the organising committee for inviting me to speak. I'm speaking today about the use of smartphones, and in particular, a project that has just started that we're involved in called Web Radar, and answering some questions, hopefully, around what this means for pharmacovigilance. So if we think about the evolution of computing, you can see there that not so long ago, computers were not portable. They were very bulky, and over the years, they've got to quite amazing technologies. And is that the future of computing? So it begs the question, really, what is a personal computer? Because a lot of people now are using handheld devices that are multifunctional. They use them for work, they use them for play, they use them for gaming, their cameras. They search the internet, and they use them for their social media, all on one handheld device. So actually, I think a smartphone is the new personal computer. And bearing in mind that they're always on, your social media is always on. Probably some of you have been in this room since the beginning, and your social media is updated. Maybe you're following someone on Twitter, and you'll have an alert to say, so-and-so's tweeted, or your friend might have posted something on your Facebook page, and your phone will tell you. It's always on, and it's always integrated. So if we think about mobile phones, just the usage of them worldwide, there's 1.75 billion smartphones, not mobile phones, smartphones in the world, and nearly 35 million smartphones used in the UK, with over half of the households in the UK having access to a smartphone, 62% of adults using a smartphone every day. So when we look at the evolution, what came out last week was the new iPhone 6, and you can see that you don't actually even need the phone because it's all on the watch. You can control what's going on from your wrist. Massive advances in technology in such a short space of time. And if we look at apps, we all download apps, some of which we download and discard very quickly, some of which we use every day. There's around 1 million apps available on the Google Store and the iPhone Store. A small proportion, but still a significant number, are health-related apps for both the clinician and patients to manage their health. And the NHS in England has its own app store for health-related mobile apps for people to download, and there's just a copy of the front page. So it's a growing area of interest and a growing resource for people to manage all sorts of things, including health. I've mentioned social media, and here's just some facts about social media. I've only just mentioned Facebook on this slide, but you could go on to Twitter and Instagram and Flickr and other things that people use. But Facebook is the most popular social media tool still, with 1.4 billion registered users, and 680 million of those users use Facebook on their mobile device. 48% use it every day, so that's a significant number. And in the UK, over 30 million people are registered as Facebook users. And this is the age group here, 25 to 34-year-olds, are the biggest user group of Facebook. Now, we might think that it's just our kids using Facebook to talk to their mates, but actually the older generation are significant users, and the biggest age bracket is 25 to 34. Even my mother has a Facebook account, and that's how she keeps in touch with me. So bearing all of that in mind, it raises some, I think, significant questions for pharmacovigilance. How can we best use these technologies to enhance pharmacovigilance? And the question that's been asked for the last few years that I'm aware of and has been avoided is, can the use of social media be harnessed to support these activities? And one of the reasons that it's been avoided by many is that we're unclear of what the legal and ethical implications are. There's no policy really around how to look at social media, and the GVP says if you look and you find, you shall report. So there's a barrier to people investigating the usability. So what are our obligations moving forward? Should we be looking at it, or is it all just noise that we should put to bed? So that leads us on. Those questions led us on to the 9th call from IMI that came out about a year ago now. The Innovative Medicines Initiative launched a call called WebAE at the time to leverage emerging technology for pharmacovigilance. And the MHRA responded to this call. We formed a consortium, which is now, as you can see on the slide, a very big consortium, including FPA partners from the industry side, academic partners, and regulatory partners, all looking at these questions around the use of mobile phones, apps, and social media to enhance pharmacovigilance. The project only started last week, but there's some significant questions I'm sure you'll understand that we are seeking to answer. This is the project setup. If we focus on the middle area there, work package 2A and 2B is looking at social media and the tools to drill down into social media and then how to analyze social media. Work package 3A and 3B are looking at the mobile platform, how to develop an app, how to make that as user-friendly and accessible as possible. All of this will be underpinned by scientific research being led by the University of Liverpool. So robust scientific evidence looking at the impact of social media and the use of mobile technologies that will then help to inform, led by the EMA, the governance and the policy. So coming out of this project, we will be looking to have robust policies in place to inform us all how to use these tools. Our vision is the new technology will give us tools to transform pharmacovigilance in this modern world, to develop a policy framework to tell us how to use them and to influence how they're used, making the best possible use of the science available to the consortium to enable us to do this, to produce new tools that everybody wants to use, industry, patients, healthcare professionals alike. So saying all of that, we are moving from the paper form. We've had telephone reporting. We've got internet reporting on the web forms, and Francois has just indicated some of the forms that are available in his previous talk, to moving forwards to mobile apps. The point of putting this up there is that one size does not fit all. Not everyone has a smartphone, not everyone has access to the internet. So we still need to provide alternative forms. We shouldn't put all our eggs in one basket. Telephone reporting remains very popular, as does paper-based reporting, but the most efficient reporting for us all is the one that meets the standard and delivers electronically into our systems. So focusing on the app, we have an app in place. There's an app called MedWatcher. It's used by the FDA for devices and drugs. It is managed by one of the partners in our consortium for WebRadar, and we will be using this as the model for the app that we will develop from that project. And the bottom half of this slide just shows how the workflow works, in that you will fill out your form on the mobile app. It passes some validation steps and is passed on to the FDA, and then is then made available through the FAERS database. We talk at the MHRA quite a bit about patient journeys, and this struck me as, is this a new patient journey? What does it look like in the future? Somebody has an ADR, they'll search the internet for information on side effects to their medicine. In the UK, we would hope that they will be pointed to the yellow card scheme and be pointed towards a downloadable app. Francois alluded to some of the possibilities with smartphones. What we would hope is that the phone would be able to scan the packaging and it will automatically populate the information on the product in question, including the dose, the pack size, manufacturer information, everything that a patient typically doesn't have to hand. If they're able to take a photo or scan the barcode on their packaging, that information's all there. That's something that we'll be looking at. They might also be able to attach photos, if necessary, of their, let's say they've got a rash. They might want to share a photo of their rash just to demonstrate how particularly severe it is to them. And that's something that may be of very good use to us. So that's the patient side. And then once we receive that report here, we would have that in the E2B format that can go directly into our database. It will be forwarded, as all other reports are forwarded, to EMA, to the industry, and to the WHO. But back on the patient side, they would receive immediate information on their medicine. They would receive advice along the lines of, you should speak to a doctor. I think one of the things that we all as providers of spontaneous reporting forms, one of the first things we say is we can't give individual advice, but you can give the generic advice to seek healthcare professional advice on your ADR. But we could also point them to important information on the website or in other forms, such as the patient information leaflet, the drug analysis print, similar to the information Francois showed at drug level, and other important safety information could be made available very easily through these technologies. And one thing we would also seek to do is have patients register when they download the app so that they can select a medicine of interest or medicines of interest and receive any alerts in the future that may happen. So if the prac take a decision and there's a new warning, they might get that information pinged to them as an update through their social media, through their mobile app. So that's a potential future patient journey. Looking at the social media side, again, there's already work being done in this area. You won't be able to possibly read these, but these are tweets that have been picked up just in a 2-month period from the partners in our consortium. And there's a range of comments there that may be interesting, may not be ADRs at all. I think one is mad that his doctor has prescribed this drug to him. There's no mention of an ADR in there, but in some of them there's some very important information potentially on how patients have experienced, what they've experienced on their medication. And there's been some analysis done of the social media and how it compares to spontaneous reporting. And this slide, again, thanks to our colleagues at Epidemico for providing some of this information. On the left-hand side are potential adverse events mentioned in Twitter. And on the right-hand side is the spontaneous reports received at the FDA. And you can see that there's some great commonality there. They look very similar in the range of MHRA terms that are being mentioned in social media as when compared to spontaneous reports. But if you looked at a particular product, this prednisone here, again on the left-hand side is the social media mentions. On the right-hand side, ever reports in the FDA AIRS database. So you can see that the social media potentially can tell you different things that may not have been picked up from the spontaneous reports. So potentially very useful information to pharmacovigilance. So this may be another new patient journey into the future, in that the patient puts a post on social media about a side effect to a medicine, and the web radar tools that we'll be applying will be able to pick this up and to screen if it's a possible ADR. We'll be able to look at similar posts. We'll be able to see if these posts, if the ADRs mentioned are labeled or not, and we'll be able to determine PRR ratios against the MHRA term. So will this information be used to support signal detection, signal validation, or signal assessment? Should it be used to identify spontaneous cases? These are the questions we need to answer. One of the very important questions that we need to address very, very early is, what is the role beyond the tweet of the patient in this journey? Is it a journey at all? Should we engage with that patient when we identify the tweet and say, it looks like you've had an ADR, do you want to fill out a spontaneous report? These are important questions that need to be answered. And because they're so important, it's why this policy area needs to be developed, and we're very pleased that EMA, with some regulatory colleagues, are leading this field to look at the policy needs around ADR reporting, the policy that should be recommended around signal management, where these investigations may support other areas such as medication error, the identification of defects and counterfeits is a strong possibility from this project. How we communicate this information will be key. And will it lead to enhanced good vigilance practices in the future when policy is set out for how we use this information? So last slide. In summary, these new technologies, I think, really do offer new possibilities for pharmacovigilance, and traditional ADR reporting and signal management methods may change in light of some of this research that will be done. The Web Radar project seeks to investigate this, to develop tools, and to recommend this policy. So watch this space. It's a 3-year project which has just got underway, but I think it will be very interesting and very informative. Thank you very much.